Hey everyone, we announced this last week but wanted to remind you we're doing our first live episode at the Urban Birding Festival in Chicago this September. It's our first live show and we're super excited. We're going to be doing a Q&A and mailbag format there, so if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer live during our recording, please send them to podcast.birdsofafeather@gmail.com, and hopefully we can get to your question in front of a live audience. This week, your hosts John Bates and Shannon Hackett, curators of birds at the Field Museum, and myself, RJ, and my wife Amanda, the new birders, discuss the Baltimore Oriole. Known for their incredible nest that they weave, to their beautiful color, to their incredible song, they're such a cool bird, so it was fun to do a deep dive on them. We also talk about John hosting a Chicago legend, Jeffrey Bayer, at the Field Museum recently. Okay, let's grab our binoculars and let's get into it. All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready to talk about Baltimore Orioles? The bird, not the baseball team?
Yes.
Yes. Maybe the baseball team? So, Amanda, this is one of your favorite birds, right?
Yes, it is. I love this bird. I didn't grow up seeing this bird, but we see this bird a ton around the Botanic Garden and Erickson Woods and Fort Sheridan. So this is definitely, I don't know if I'm going to say my favorite, but one of my favorites. I think it's so beautiful. It's easy to spot. And more importantly, it's easy to hear. Like, I feel like easy for us to identify. And should I go ahead and play my song?
Sure.
Okay. This is a song we recorded this spring right by our apartment in Turnbull Woods. Got louder.
There's some Red Wings in the background.
Yeah.
You got it. That's springing.
It's going to get better. Sorry.
I could hear it.
Okay, good. Woodpecker too. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get a feel for that one?
Absolutely. No, it's an absolutely beautiful song.
We say like that, like, because when we were reading, this made more sense, but it sounds like a lot of male Orioles have a little bit of variation in their songs.
I feel like there's a lot of variation. One thing I can't tell sometimes is how much of it's age related.
Oh, interesting.
Young males that are just trying to figure stuff out, and maybe that's what's going on sometimes in the spring, because I feel like what you just played is a bird giving a really good, complete song. And what I think you sometimes get are these like bits and pieces of that, which is, it sometimes can be really confusing with respect to trying to convince yourself that it's actually a Baltimore Oriole.
That's why I was so in love with this bird, because it was like a melody. It wasn't just like a couple notes or whatever.
Just like when we were listening to it, we were joking that it sounded like he had like an extra like pep to it. Like he's like, do, 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 do. Like we were like, it was reminding us of like Whitney Houston when she like hit that like high note. Like this bird seemed like, I don't know, like there was a little extra something to it. And he seemed...
and again, that's the function of the song. So probably looking for a mate, and that little extra pep may be exactly what he needs to do.
I can bring the bird back down to earth, because icterus is a medical term for jaundice. So
because they're yellow, that's
so when I looked up its etymology, it just made me laugh. But it's also in mythology. There's a yellowish bird, the sight of which was supposed to by sympathetic magic cure jaundice. But then the bird died, so I'm not sure exactly what this mythological story is supposed to tell us. But so even their names you take with the good with the bad, I suppose. And Galbula is also Latin and it means yellow bird. So yellow is, even though I think of the bird more orange than yellow, but
Well, certainly the males are, and the females, actually, compared to a lot of, they can have some orange on them, orangish tinge too. Yeah, I mean, so the genus is a very large genus of the Icteridae. So it's, the whole family is named after the genus, but they're all, I mean, there's a lot of variation going down into South America all the way to Argentina. And so it's a really successful genus, but a lot of them are these dimorphic birds where I guess not all of them are even dimorphic, but there's a bright color in the males with a lot of oranges and mixed with black and black heads. I was going to point out that you may not have encountered them out in Colorado, but there's a western sister taxon to Baltimore Oriole called Bullock's Oriole.
Oh, they're not sisters though, John.
That's right. They're not because of Fuertes.
Yeah. So, I mean, they
we
are
have seen Bullocks,
they are in the same group, but
right.
But so they form a classic hybrid zone. There's two things I remember about an evolution class I took. It was about hybrid zones, and it was flickers and orioles. So those are the two things I vividly remember being taught in evolution class about hybrid zones, which got right into what a species is, this bird is classically complicated with what a species is and what the role that gene flow can play and how you view species or how you define them. But
so there was a period of time when the North American Checklist Committee decided that there was only one species in North America, and they called it Northern Oriole as opposed to Baltimore and Bullock's. But as Shannon was saying, some colleagues of ours, when they did the genetic work, there's actually a species from Mexico that's more closely related to, I can't remember how the tree actually looks.
It looks different mitochondrially versus nuclearly. So it's a bit of an unresolved whether the blackback oriole is more similar to either Bullock's or Baltimore. But they're all in this little, triumvirate there of uncertain affinities as far as right now goes. But so I've just vividly remember learning about this bird. So they were separated, and then a study by some famous ornithologists, Charles Sibley being one of them, and Lester Short, who was a curator at the American Museum, showing that they had this hybrid zone, 150 mile, 200 mile wide hybrid zone in the Great Plains. And then, so they were, because at that point, this interbreeding was the dominant paradigm associated with species. They were lumped into one species. That's when they became Northern Oriole. And then when some more genetic work was done on them, by 1995, they were split again into two species. And it turns out that even though there's extensive gene flow in the hybrid zone, the genes don't leak further into the parental population. So it's a stable hybrid zone. And it looks like these friends of ours have done all this work showing that there's probably selection against the hybrids. So that even though they can breed and do breed in this contact zone, the hybrids aren't fit enough to get their way back into either parental population. And so, they are back to being two species, and who knows what the future means.
That's interesting. Can the hybrids mate with each other?
That they can do. But in the hybrid
expand
zone.
Out of that
but if
general,
you put, if you put one of those hybrids outside of the zone, the parental species are like, no, thank you.
Okay.
You're not my kind. So they stay in the middle, where in this hybrid zone.
Okay. So have you guys seen an Oriole nest?
No. So we didn't realize how impressive their nests are until we were researching for this episode. Yeah. So they weave them basically. They do. Yeah.
and the one thing I found in Chicago, which is kind of fascinating, is because there's so much, the trees are deciduous. You can often see them in the fall once the leaves are gone.
Oh.
Little bags.
Okay.
And they're often along. They like being near water, so they're often along the Chicago Channel and the golf courses and things like that. They don't tend to be deep forest birds at all, so you won't get them in the forest inside the forest preserves, but you would get them in around the edge, and they really like things like cottonwoods.
Oh. Right. Very cool.
Do they return to their nests, or do they make new ones every year? Do we know?
I think they make new ones every year.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was going to say, I think we know where a nest is, but it's just so high up there that we couldn't see it. And so now that you said that, like, you can see them in the fall, it makes me want to go back there this fall.
Me too.
Yeah.
Look for it.
So they weave sticks on the outside, and then they line it with two other things, including a really soft liner on them on the inside, so that the babies have nice, a nice soft place to grow, which I think is, including some man-made things, I suppose, that are in
and it's like thin fibers that they use to weave it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like basket weaving or something, but with even like thinner, like it seems pretty like, I don't know, involved.
If they find
elaborate.
string and
wow,
yarn and things, they'll incorporate that into the nest.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but they're very sturdy, and the eggs can't be seen from the outside, so it's a pretty dense weaving. So and amazing that they do that every single year.
Yeah, wow,
that's awesome.
We were watching a YouTube video about it, and they mentioned that like those nests are more like resistant to cowbirds, which we thought was kind of interesting. I don't know if there's how much truth there is to that, or if you know anything about that, but
there's been a lot of work on that, and cowbirds are found throughout the range of Icterus orioles down into South America. There are other species. There's brown-headed cowbird here, which is a nest parasite, will parasitize Baltimore Orioles, but it's a lot harder to parasitize a nest like that than it is to parasitize an open cup nest.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then I didn't realize that they can take often up to 15 days to make that nest. So there's a cost to making something that complicated, because you're very vulnerable when you're making nests. So that's a significant amount of time, way more than, it usually would take. Most birds don't take that long to make a nest. And then I found something hilarious, given my anti-small mammal bias, which is that there's literature on predation, because they usually like to put their nests on the tips of branches, except squirrels are destroying. They have to be a lot more careful with where they put them when squirrels are around, because squirrels are big nest predators. Dastardly mammals. They're not just destroying my flowers; they're destroying bird nests too.
Like I never thought about that, but I wonder if that's why they prefer cottonwoods so much. Because I feel like cottonwoods are a tree that squirrels tend to not use very much.
Oh, interesting.
Huh.
That could be, for sure.
Anybody's thought about that.
Oh. Amanda, you had a question about their nests when we were watching YouTube videos. Do you remember? I thought it was an interesting question.
No, I don't. Tell me.
You were just asking if, like, I mean, how does it know to be able to weave? Like, is that like an innate thing, or is that something they watch others do? I mean...
Good question, RJ.
It was your question, Amanda. But it is something that they
It's innate.
It is. Oh,
okay.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Gosh.
And old innate too, because so many members of Icteridae do that. So it's not something that originated in that species. It's something that the family, so many members of the family do build nests that are like that. So who knows what the world was like, or what was happening, or what selective pressures were on precursors to
wow,
Icteridae.
that's so crazy.
So Icteridae is entirely New World. So the Oriole and blackbird family is only in the New World. In the Old World, you have this group called the Weavers, Placeidae, and they're even more. They have more variation and some incredible structures to their nests, and they also have males with yellow and black plumage and females that tend to be just plainer, and so that's a complete convergence.
Crazy.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool.
Huh.
And they're called Orioles.
Weave a nest and it's innate, and I never realized it. Like, how do you find out you have these skills?
I know. Yeah.
Sorry, Shannon, I cut you off.
Your hormones tell you it's time to mate, and you better have it in your genes at that point that you know what to do. Yeah. If you're a female, or
I've seen them do it.
My deep ancestors taught me how to knit, so I think I'll try it now. But they're called Orioles, not because they resemble Old World Orioles, but that are in the Oriolidae family, a completely different, unrelated family. So they just look
But
a
which
little
also
bit like
has
them.
birds with yellow bodies and dark heads. I mean, that's
Okay.
actually a pattern that it shows up in a number of other groups, cuckoo shrikes and things like that. So but again, is there benefit to that? I mean, we were out at that place where the great blue herons were nesting, and there was that male Baltimore Oriole hanging around.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, what's the benefit of being a male Baltimore Oriole? Because you definitely stick out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, John, if you had to guess how many we had, what would you guess?
400.
Nope. We have over 710 Galbula.
Oh my gosh.
And then the Bullock's Oriole, we have 196. So,
oh wow.
So one thing I was going to point out about this bird is, we talked about Carolina wren as ostensibly being a bird that I consider to be kind of tropical and non-migratory. So Baltimore Oriole is definitely migratory. They entirely clear out. But they're one of the birds that I feel like gets here, gets their breeding done, and then the adults actually leave earlier than almost anything else in the fall.
Oh.
And I've always been fascinated by that. So the two species I think of like that are Baltimore Oriole and yellow warbler, where they just, like, by mid-September, they're pretty much gone.
Wow.
what do you speculate? Why is that, do you think? Why do they do that?
Yeah.
Do they take longer to migrate?
I was going to actually, storytelling completely, say that maybe it's a result of their evolving migration more recently than some of these other birds, and they don't go as far north. And so maybe that just leads them to have a shorter cycle. I don't know. Yeah. But I always like the fact that this time of year, they're finishing up, and you're going to start seeing these young ones and some adults in the cemeteries, for instance, that are getting ready to leave.
Wow.
So they're named after George Calvert. This is my fun fact for the day. The first Baron Baltimore, whose coat of arms has those colors. So it has that orange and black color. So
it's not the baseball team.
No. Sorry to burst your bubble, John.
Can we talk about their diet a little bit too? Because they have a sweet tooth, and so they like, I know like for feeders and stuff, people put out, is it oranges and like grape jelly are like two of the main things that attract them. I mean, is that like a natural thing for them to eat? I mean, it sounds like they eat a lot of like berries and things as sweets, right?
So it's funny that we were in a recent episode, we were talking about honey eaters because again, this is a genus that is found throughout the New World tropics. And in those areas, there are lots of flowering plants and things to go to. And in some level, Baltimore Orioles are kind of an anomaly because they've moved north into areas where there just aren't that many opportunities like that, but they've still retained that sweet tooth.
Okay.
And they'll find flowering. I think they do well. I think it's helped to have a lot of planted gardens with, foreign plants that are flowering at different times. That might not be as many examples in, the native Eastern North American flora. But yeah, no, they definitely have a sweet tooth, and you can put out jelly and oranges and they'll come in and they just love them. And, there's nothing like an early spring, like you're recording, where you get up and look out at the morning and there's a male Baltimore Oriole coming into some jelly that you've put out.
So the jelly feeders are generally orange, right? So the Oriole feeders, do they prefer orange? Is that why they're all orange?
Yeah. The color orange. They're attracted like the color orange. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And again, I mean, there's some circularity there where if there are enough orange feeders sold, you can actually train those birds as they fly through yards to look for orange things. And so there may be some circularity there, but I certainly think it's in the tropics, the Oriole species are going around looking for flower types that may easily include flowers that are orange.
And then I read about a feeding thing that they do with like soft fruits called gaping. Did you hear about this? So they like will they'll open their bill like and then stab the bill into the fruit and then use like their tongue, I think, to dip their tongue into it to like drink out of like where they like pierced into. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
I didn't know that they did that.
So it's interesting because they're not as specialized in terms of the foraging as some other tropical birds might be. So you've got things like trogons, which will swallow things whole. So they're definitely looking for fruits that are a size they can handle, whereas orioles can go into almost anything, do some piercing and get something out of it.
Okay.
So they're more generalist, I think, than a lot of the other frugivores that you see in South America. And at the same time, they're probably also taking a good number of insects and things too to feed their chicks.
Okay.
Very cool.
If I've got anything else on them.
I know.
Yeah, John, did you want to talk about Amanda's playing it again?
Sorry.
One more time.
Yes.
I want to see if I could get it louder.
It's perfect. Oh, I'm serious.
Oh, good. That might be as good as I guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
John, I heard you had a local Chicago celebrity at the museum recently.
We did. We had Jeffrey Bear come, and our public relations folks contacted me and said that I really appreciate Kate Golombowski, who's one of our PR folks, loves the egg room at the Field Museum. So he contacted her and said, what would be cool to see? And she said, the egg room. And so
cool.
they came in and did a like pre-scouting thing, which is always fun because the egg room at the Field Museum is this tiny little room that's crammed with these incredibly bizarre old cases. And it's really cool. And so we set it all up, and Jeffrey came in, and it was awesome to talk to him. And I guess you had this experience too, where you were on this weekend with another WTTW show.
Yeah. Just this past weekend, I was on Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, and was on with him talking about birds, which was super exciting. And it was funny because we shot it like last summer, and then it takes the time to edit and everything, and then it was like, I think it was the last episode in his season or second to last. So it was like, that puts it back even 3 months later. But yeah, it was super exciting, and he's super fun and interesting. And yeah, it's cool to have those kinds of connections. Then when I heard you were going to meet Jeffrey Bear, me and Amanda are huge Jeffrey Bear fans and watch all of his specials. So we're excited to see you on there, John. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it won't be till April.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the Baltimore Orioles are coming back.
That's what they told me, and then it ended up being July.
Yes.
But it's, those things are fun to do.
Yeah. Was Jeffrey pretty cool in person? He seems like such a nice guy. Yeah.
He's an Evanstonian. He had to be cool.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Do you still have the hat thing, RJ? Did you get to
I
keep
do,
that?
the flower crown.
Yeah.
It's all dried up now, but we still have it.
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture
That's not
of
it
it.
on the wall behind Amanda, though.
No.
I know.
No.
Yeah.
We do have it, though. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to put something in the notes for people to go check.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll drop a link to it when our episode comes out, so everybody can go look at it. So
You can use my picture of you from the TV.
Oh yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks. We'll post that for sure. Yeah.
John,
Cool.
what kinds of questions did he ask you? I mean, what was his takeaway? Because we're jaded. We walk by that room every day we're in the museum, and I'm always curious what outsiders see when they see that or think.
I've done it a few times now, and with the egg room, and I was thinking we should do an episode on eggs and talk about them. But our egg collection goes back to the early, the late 1800s. Early 1900s, and that was the heyday of egg collecting. And these guys were incredible natural historians, and so there are these egg slips that have this immaculate handwriting associated with them that provides all this detail of what kind of tree they were in and how many eggs there were and how far along the clutch was with the date and stuff. And so I talked to him about the kinds of things we've used this information for, which is we did this paper for the northeastern corner of Illinois with the 5 counties, where for 73 species, we looked at how first egg laying date, which you can calculate from the nests, how far along the nest is, how far along the eggs are in the nest. You can calculate first egg laying date pretty accurately for any given nest. And we had the historical data. And then my big point in this is that there are no modern data for eggs for the most part, except for observational stuff. And we happen to have a couple of colleagues that had a lot of observational data from. Actually, one guy was studying cowbird parasitism out at the Morton Arboretum. And so he had 30 years of finding nests at the Morton Arboretum, and he could estimate the same thing about how far along the process were these eggs when he saw them, and estimate first egg laying date again. And what we were trying to look at was the potential for climate change to be affecting egg laying dates, with the idea that maybe they're going to be moving forward. And across 73 species, the patterns actually weren't all that clear. But I think that's largely because there's a lot of idiosyncratic responses to things like this. And we should expect that. We just need good data. And so anyways, I was showing him things like, so killdeer in the Chicago area are breeding a full month earlier now than they were back in the before 1930.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
And I think that's because the biology of killdeer allows them to get here and monitor what's going on better than a lot of other birds that, for instance, are wintering down, like Baltimore Orioles wintering down in Central and South America.
Amazing.
So anyways, I mean, he was great. He asked a lot of good questions about all kinds of things like that. And we had things like the ostrich egg and the elephant bird egg, which we always show people and talk about the evolution of clutch size. And we showed them the common murre eggs, where the females are capable of individually marking the eggs as they go down the oviduct, And so, yeah, it was fun.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. How much time did he spend with you?
He spent about probably an hour and a half to,
cool.
Maybe over an hour and a half. And the interesting thing is he went on and did a whole thing with Jing-May O'Connor, who's one of our paleontology curators, who works on feathered dinosaurs and the lineage leading to birds.
Oh, wow.
Birds are
Very
derived.
Cool.
That's awesome. Did Jeffrey Bear seem like a bird guy?
He actually said he was not a bird guy, but I think we worked on him a little bit.
Good.
We should see if he can come on here.
There we go.
Yeah.
We'll convince him.
For sure.
Yeah. Well,
awesome.
that's exciting, John. That's so fun.
Yeah. It was.
That's really cool. Yeah, we'll have to let everybody know when the episode comes out too, because that'll be fun to see you on there.
I wonder if he would come on, because if we do a episode from the egg room, I'd be really curious to have him on to see, even if it's just for 10 minutes, to see if he would talk to us about what his takeaways were from the egg room.
Yeah.
You might.
Yeah.
We should see if we can ask him, because I'm always curious what people take away from some of the tours that we do this so frequently, right? Take people through the collections, and there are people going through the collections every day when you're in the museum. We're not doing it every day, but someone around us is. And, people, you can watch it. People are so enraptured that even if you are wheeling a very heavy, loud cart down the hallway trying to get somewhere, you could hit people before they would even pay attention to the fact that there was someone there and they need to get out of the way, right? So that's kind of how engrossed people can be in the collections when you show them. I mean, obviously, without that, we wouldn't have this podcast, because you guys wouldn't have taken John and I out of our comfort zones into doing something that, something like this, which I never, ever would have done ever on my own. Even though I love podcasts and they're a critical part of my life, I never would have done it. So
there are these older things I've done in the egg room with Allie Ward and
oh yeah,
ologies. I guess that wasn't in the egg room as much, but I did another one with Emily Grassley at one point.
Cool.
And again, I love it because it's, the way I always describe it is it's avian pediatrics.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know what's going on with respect to birds and eggs, you're really missing part of the major aspect of life history for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, every bird out there comes from an egg. Every individual.
Well, yeah, let's make sure we do like a full egg episode then coming up soon, because I think that'll be fun and that'll be cool to talk about. And then try to get Jeffrey on at some point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
All right. Is there anything else we want to chat about on eggs or Jeffrey Bayer or Baltimore Orioles?
That's Baltimore Orioles. Great logo for a baseball team.
It is.
It's one of the best birds to see at your feeder because it's so bright and pretty, and so it's something to look forward to every spring for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
They are the best.
For sure.
They are the best.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We appreciate you all so much, so thank you for listening along with us every week. We hope everyone is having an amazing end of their summer. Fall migration is just around the corner. All right, we'll see you next week. Love you all.